you ain't black.
And you ain't black.
You know, we watched as we're not really surprised. The verdict came out. The grand jury.
But first,
did
it's
not.
actually a lot to dissect, right? Like,
We'll get there.
Killing.
Yeah, no, we'll get there. We'll get there. But we got to discuss people's response and response with the lack of evidence. And it's So it came back. Grand jury said no charges except for one person got like endangerment or something like that.
Because he fired into a certain
fired
area,
in an area
endangering other people
in another apartment.
Apartment.
And so that was reason for a U-Haul truck that was already there.
To speak on it,
to open up and have signs, bats, and shields ready to go. And people went and they tried to burn down Louisville, and because actually they cared about law and order, 130 people were arrested in that night, and places didn't burn down like Portland and Seattle and Chicago and Baltimore and Detroit. And
notice that they're all black communities.
We can keep going. Yeah.
Notice how they're all black communities.
What better way to showcase your anger and vitriol for this black life that was lost than burning down your own town?
Yeah,
why not?
You know, when it comes to a movement, it's all about credibility. When you burn and loot, you're it's not credible anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then you talk about the falsehoods because, you know, people don't know what the truth was, you know, and that's when you're talking about the details of the case.
Yeah. Let's get into the details.
A lot of people don't know about the background, you know, what she was involved with.
So what was the narrative? Because the narrative in the beginning was what? She was
the narrative was that she was just minding her own business, asleep in her bed, and was like murdered while she was dreaming.
And they got into the wrong house, right? It was the wrong house.
And there were no knocks.
Completely not the case.
Right. Yes,
but now that's not to suggest that any way that somebody who's involved in the drug game should lose their life.
Of course not. No, nobody should lose their life.
You should be held accountable at trial and you know go through that. Of course,
you play stupid games,
but
you win stupid
prizes.
prizes.
Very happen during drug busts.
Yes, sir.
Like we see that all the time.
So the narrative of that she was innocent and that she was an EMT and the whole narrative has changed. It's like how every incident with Black Lives Matter. That's why I say that sometimes I can't support it at all.
Yeah.
No.
Black Lives
Once
Matter.
the
Why?
facts
Because every single narrative changes as the
Absolutely.
court proceeding goes on. So in fact, she actually had to step down from EMT because she was part of a murder investigation.
They found a body.
A murder
in her
investigation.
See, I didn't even know that.
Okay. She didn't get shot in the bed. She was actually in the hallway in the line of fire. There's so many avenues. I'm trying to think of one right now.
He shot back at the cops first.
Let's speak on that.
And actually shot a cop first.
Thank you.
So.
And think of it this way: we want to get mad at the cop for doing his job because they talk about it was a no-knock warrant, but in fact they actually did knock, and reportedly the neighbors heard how bad of the knocks were.
It was a no-knock warrant, but they decided to knock anyways.
Yeah. So hard that the neighbors had to come out and say what's going on, and they wouldn't answer the door. You want to know why? Because they know what's going on. Because they knew what was going on. They knew what was happening. That they were at the front door.
And if you even want to break down that part of the law, there is a reason why there is a no-knock warrant. It's not just like you can just go get that. You have to petition the judge to get one.
It's actually very hard to get
and that was done after surveillance was already done, and it had been verified that like work packages was received at that address.
So check this out. Check this out. Her name was actually on the warrant.
Her name was on the
They
warrant.
say it wasn't.
Yes.
So think about it this way: if you were a part of an investigation for until 2016 of murder and drug trafficking,
almost 4
okay,
Literally.
and you knock on the door, you do. It wasn't. They did not knock. They did knock with a no-knock warrant, and your boyfriend shoots at you.
They gave them
and
ready.
they found all the equipment, the drugs, and everything anyway. So we're not saying
they went into a drug den and happened to get into a
And
gunfight with drug dealers.
that's basically
You know what really
happened.
gets me though is why is it that the narrative is always as soon as the story hits, the left just jumps on it with this like lynching thing. This reminds me of like Jussie Smollett. You remember when the Jussie Smollett thing hit? And
Damn right it's MAGA country.
Everybody said that everybody was saying that we're being lynched now. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I'm not being
looking
lynched.
for one in our studio.
I
But
promise
you know,
I'm not.
it's crazy because you said like everything's a lynching now, but yet it's quiet when remember that shop owner in Texas in the first week of the riots, who was defending his store with a samurai sword, and then they rushed him and beat him. Like I think he recently died.
He died. Yeah. He died.
I mean, the amount of people, the guy who was hunted down for just wearing a Trump shirt. We've seen actual.
What
lynchings.
about the black elder guy who was a retired officer? who was
police chief
murdered. Yeah, the
Dorn.
What about that Black Lives?
Mr. Dorn.
How is his life any less?
Thank you.
Oh, wait, because they can't politicize it. That's
Exactly,
why.
and it wasn't a
It doesn't fit the
cop,
narrative.
and it wasn't a
That's
cop
what-
that
it doesn't fit the
shot
narrative.
him.
Because the cop, the other side of it too, they can't politicize it, but like we got to understand when like Black Lives Matter only comes out for police, the biggest reason they do that is to sue and get money and to be able to bankrupt the system.
And think about it this way.
That's what they want to do.
And
they
think
don't
about
care
this
about
with
anything
the
else.
Breonna
No, they
Taylor.
really don't.
With the Breonna Taylor, they ended up giving her family
$12
$12 million.
So you're in a drug game.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
In a drug game,
Do
you
it.
get killed by the cops who come into a drug den,
You
and your
shoot.
and you shoot, and your family gets $12 million.
What planet did I live in?
Didn't your
What
mom
planet did I wake up
broke
on?
off with some
Actually,
money
yeah.
and ended up buying some
A new house, new car,
exactly, a
everything
Bentley
like
or something
that.
like that.
And think
Hey,
about it
do
this
whatever
way.
you want with the
You know what
money,
I'm
but
saying?
like,
And
come on.
actually, this
but
is a
you-
message, right? Because I'm from Chicago, and I actually personally know people who do this type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, females, don't do this. You letting these men use your address and you get sucked into
bread.
the game.
Break
You know
bread.
you getting this work. You know you doing all this illegal stuff, and then
Yep.
you surprised when your door get kicked down. Like that
Well,
don't
because
make
bullets
sense.
aren't sexist.
Exactly.
It's really not.
Racist.
They have no
They're
names.
sexist, racist.
They-
It's like
Hey, they have no names.
No names.
No names.
Except for
Like
who
she
made
was
it on the
knee
back
deep
of
in
the
she was knee deep in the game. Like she was in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
for
if you're
real.
if you're dealing drugs, obviously your girlfriend gonna know.
Right.
I mean, let's just keep
But
it
not
living
even that,
together,
like,
too.
she's helping
Exactly.
you run it.
Yeah, exactly. No, the boyfriend actually admitted that she's the one that deals with the money.
So come on.
Well, I mean, like,
don't be surprised.
I mean,
She's in the game.
like Siaka said.
But
Remember
Siaka
that
said,
song,
if you
Fatty
play,
Wap had, Trap Queen?
Yeah.
See, if you play stupid games,
what do you get?
you're gonna
win.
You
win.
my trap
Very
queen.
stupid prizes.
Very stupid.
Very
prize.
stupid
Very
prizes.
stupid prizes.
Like,
yeah.
What do you expect is going to happen in a situation where you're in the game? You're in the
Deep.
trap game. You're
Yeah.
Deep in the game.
You see what I'm saying?
To the session where you're getting investigated for a murder rap.
Her car, the rental car was under her name with a dead body.
come on now. This is
Wait,
what you
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
part of a murder investigation.
You want to find that on CNN?
Oh,
It goes against the narrative.
That's
you
what
can't put forth the
so,
truth.
So this is what we're talking about: is that with every single incident, a narrative is put out, but it's completely the opposite. Everything that you
Everything's
hear
the
is
opposite.
always the lie, and then now it's justification to burn down more black communities. It's not like like we're protesting or nothing like that.
What
So
are we doing?
when we're talking about this, we need to stop. It needs to
Yes.
stop. We need to stop.
But here's and then I mean for me, and I'll keep saying this until people actually like the mainstream media or whatever start to give a damn.
Yeah.
But we're gonna march for her. But we have literally like we lost 38 kids in just July alone in Chicago. In Chicago, and I'll say it over and over. And if people getting tired of it, well, let's do something.
Double
about
down.
it.
Oh,
Well, let's
Double
say
down.
their name then.
Let's say it
You're
again.
tired of it.
Say their name.
We're
exactly.
sitting there. We want to say her name. This person involved in the selfish game that does actually real harm to the community.
Right.
Yes.
But yet these little kids from
They do nothing.
10-month-old around around the corner from where my mom lived to 2-year-old, 5, 6, 8, 12, 18-year-olds, 15-year-old black boys and girls, boom, gone. And we're not saying any of those
Nothing.
names. You lose me with
They
that
hurt,
every
man.
single
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
They
You're
hurt.
never
You
gonna.
can't. You can't.
I don't care what you say, man, because all that shit's fake.
It really is.
Kids
It really
can't
is.
defend themselves, dude.
Yeah.
That's the thing I always say. So when you're saying, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," does it? Because those harmless children that
Right.
can't do anything, can't barely raise their hand to raise a gun, they couldn't defend themselves. What's up?
So I mean, at the end of the day, I think what we're all trying to say is that with this Breonna Taylor case and Black Lives Matter, everybody has a right to protest, but these riots need to stop. It needs to stop like yesterday, like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
It needs
but
to
also
stop.
the thing that worries me about this whole situation with Breonna Taylor is this is the furthest I've seen in my adult life of the actual truth and details and the nitty gritty being represented in the media as completely different than what really happened.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you talk about 1930s propaganda in Western Europe, it was like, oh no, the Jews weren't beaten and taken away.
no,
They
yeah.
left.
Yeah,
No,
of
they
course,
just
they wanted
left.
them
You know,
Right?
they
The
never really
stars,
got
so they
along
can
with
identify
this.
each other.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
They chose that.
They wanted that.
And this is the biggest case I have seen of just, I mean, when Rodney King happened, I was a kid. Dude, when you would be talking about that with friends, people knew the timeline.
Yeah.
We knew what street corners the freaking riots started on. You knew everything from the detail of the guy that was pulled out of the truck. Like, it's just everybody
Denny.
was on the same page.
Yep.
And if you're watching these media outlets now, you literally think a poor innocent girl who was basically one step away from being a doctor, life was senselessly snuffed out by a bunch of racist cops who literally just wanted to go guns blazing Quentin Tarantino style.
Right.
But you know what too, like that just goes to speak for me about like the hypocrisy on the left, because if it's really like they claim to be like the champions and saviors of black lives, but you can waste black lives in like many ways, right? Not just by killing somebody. What about all of the thousands of black lives that they waste in the prison system by giving people life sentences for marijuana, right? These people that are running right now,
who's
Joe
the
Biden
they
and
in
Kamala,
that story?
specifically
That was Kamala Harris in California, dude.
Jim Crow Joe, specifically Jim Crow Joe and Kamala Harris, right? These are the two people. It's Harris it's the Harris Biden ticket, right? Harris is running for
anti-black
president,
ticket,
and VP is the
you ain't black ticket.
The you ain't black ticket, right? And that's what it is. Like they've locked up so many black people. So what about those lives? Do those lives matter?
No, they ain't gonna talk about that. They're not gonna talk about that.
Right.
Not at all.
They don't talk about no black lives besides the ones that are killed by white cops, which is literally 1% of the time.
And as we've seen, it's a lot of sketchy situations.
Right.
Well, so what's the fix though? Like, how,
what we're seeing,
am I going to live my adult life just knowing that every time an African American gets shot under anything less than questionable, is it going to be riots now? What's
what we're ultimately seeing is the downfall of the Democratic Party.
Oh,
it is.
We're seeing in real time.
I like that you said that.
Come on, Siaka. Siaka, who's going to hate on the conservatives? Where are the liberals going to go? This can't be the downfall of the Democratic Party.
But I'll say the Democratic Party as we know it, right? So that whole coalition of the willing, that's gone. They've lost that. The progressives don't even like Joe Biden. The AOC is getting ready to. She's trying to make her own moves, make coup for Schumer's seat. This shit, they're infighting. Obama, they don't listen to Obama. We talked about this last night. He said, if during the primaries you need to stop attacking each other because it's like a circling firing squad, or you'll take each other out. What are they doing?
Wait, so you're saying they don't even listen to Obama now?
Obama, the Time magazine in the beginning of the primaries had him as Obama was really a conservative.
Right.
They wrote that in the Time.
Because, dude, I just got kicked out of a mattress store for having said something bad about Obamacare. The manager literally kicked me out and said, I won't let anybody speak ill of President Obama in my store.
Hey, wait till all the Durham investigation's done, because it's already coming out. That dude,
ready for that.
That whole administration is literally
the Obama
documents.
Justice Department.
Documents showing that they were spying on the candidate, didn't tell him, and continue to spy, that they lied to get General Flynn in there, who's a 5-star general. And if you don't feel that they can come after you, this guy's a 5-star general. This guy sat there and fought for this country and has military behind him, actually has money. Imagine what they can do to anybody sitting here.
Exactly.
So this stuff is real, what's happening right now. They're gonna everything, and it's not a coincidence that stuff happened there with Breonna Taylor on the same day that Hunter Biden's financials came out. A lot of the money's going to fucking sex trafficking. That stuff's not an accident. That's what we're
Smoke
seeing.
screen.
These news organizations are culpable, and they're going to be found culpable for a majority of this stuff. When you have Cuomo on CNN saying, "Hey, where does it say peaceful protest?" The First Amendment, you idiot. These people are going to be held accountable, if not by the law.
I actually think
by some other people. I'm just saying.
Also, I think it's becoming more and more apparent to normal American citizens that the Democrats are so crazy and anti-American right now. It's getting to the point that it's scary. It's like, imagine people trying to help you. You know, you all remember the car accident analogy, right? And somebody there who's telling you that they're helping you, and yet your city's burning down, yet your people are being imprisoned, yet
and
this,
shot,
and yet they're in your face smiling. That's the scariest thing ever. That's literally like a scene from a horror movie. It's like they welcoming you in with open arms, and then they're like a horrible creature, and then they turn into a horrible creature, from the back, right?
You ain't black,
and you ain't black.